Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Super Anime Bros podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rosario, joined by my brother, Angelo. And today we're going to talk about something we love.
Welcome back, everybody. So this week, as we mentioned before, we're going to be starting our deep dives into all of our top 10 shows. So this show, Horimiya, that we're going to talk about today, it was my number 10. And yeah, I'm just excited to have some time to talk about it in a, longer fashion, be able to say everything I want to say. And just before we start, we made an Instagram. Where can we, what's our name? The Super Anime Bros?
The Super Anime Bros podcast.
Okay, see, that's why I asked.
There you go.
So you can find us there. If you could give us a follow, we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we really enjoy doing this. We've been doing it for, this will be going on 4 months now with 16
16.
pretty much weekly. Yeah, and any way that we can grow and reach more people, we'd certainly love to, and any support we would appreciate. So I think that was a pretty cool step for us. We found a little bit of success in our first day with it. So really, thank you for everybody who's followed thus far, and please continue to follow going forward. We really appreciate it.
All right, well, let's get back into the episode. All right, so Horimiya.
All right.
You want to hit us with the plot?
I do.
Is that from my anime list?
This is from my anime list. We just said all right like 16 times.
I just said it again.
All right.
Okay, I'll just say okay. That can be my thing.
No, it's okay. We don't need to have it's fine. So Horimiya. On the surface, the thought of Kyoko Hori and Izumi Miyamura getting along would be the last thing in people's minds. After all, Hori has a perfect combination of beauty and brains, while Miyamura appears meek and distant to his fellow classmates. However, a fateful meeting between the two lays both of their hidden selves bare. Even though she is popular at school, Hori has little time to socialize with her friends due to homework. On the other hand, Miyamura lives under the nose of his peers, his body bearing secret tattoos and piercings that make him look like a gentle delinquent. Having opposite personalities, yet sharing odd similarities, the two quickly become friends and often spend time together in Hori's home. As they both emerge from their shells, they share with each other a side of themselves concealed from the outside world.
What a setup!
I agree.
What a setup!
Yeah,
it's definitely a cool, setup. Yeah, I don't know what I was gonna say there.
It's okay.
But so yeah, I guess we could just get into the characters, talk a little bit about all the important ones, a little bit about some of the side ones. Sound good?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
Do you want to start us off?
I can start us off. So the main guy, Miyamura, Izumi Miyamura, he is, these are your notes, so I'll read them verbatim.
If you want.
Nerd turned hunk.
Yeah.
I could agree with that. Yeah. Lived a lonely life until chance meeting with Hori. He was definitely very lonely in grade school, and up until middle school, he didn't have any friends at all. Mm-hmm. So it was very sad to see that, and that's something that he's faced a lot in the show. Mm-hmm. It has like an appearance of like his old self, and he's like trying to tell his old self that it's going to be okay. You're going to one day make a friend, and then one day you're going to meet Hori, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then the other thing he had was break through his low self-esteem with Hori, which is kind of what I just mentioned. Yeah. That once he realizes that he's not alone, that's how he turns into that hunk. He gets his hair cut. Doesn't wear his piercings anymore after that. Which
no, not really.
I'm like, they got rid of that.
Yeah.
But he still has like the piercing holes. He just stops wearing them.
Yeah.
And like he's super popular. Then all the girls love him.
Yeah.
Which is great to see. And then it's the last note you took was he's very caring with his friends. Overall great guy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Definitely wouldn't argue that.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah, I know we'll talk about some of our favorite moments later, but just like one that's fairly early on that I really enjoy and I think highlights him is in class. It gives a flashback to, I guess, maybe grade school. He seemed pretty young. And teachers saying, hey, split off into groups before we do a project or whatever. Certainly a pretty relatable concept.
I think a scary time for
sure.
all of us.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was always an awesome thing to hear. from my
split up
person.
into groups.
Yeah, like go.
It was
go
cool,
work with
but
your
like,
friends.
would you do the thing where you'd like look at your friends while she's
Well,
saying
for
it? So you already
sure.
have the groups before anybody breaks.
Yeah.
Just like I would do that, and then I would be like, oh crap, we're like I have 5 friends in this class, and we can only be in like a group of 3. And then like I'm like I gotta try to pick sides, but I also don't want to be the one who gets left out.
No, for sure.
It's kind of exciting, but I can see how it could be like stressful, especially if you think nobody's gonna want to group up with you.
Yeah, without a doubt. So yeah, what I'm saying is like I have not experienced something like that in my life. Like I always had a group to go to. So thinking about not having that and just the pain that must cause over and over again as that happens.
It's a very honestly traumatic experience.
For sure. I mean, it's how he became so closed off.
Mm-hmm.
But it then cuts to present day after he's already talking to Hori, already going to her house and everything after their chance meeting, and just becoming closer when teacher says split off into groups and he doesn't say a word, he doesn't do anything, and before he knows it, Hori, Toru, and Yuki, their small friend group, already moving all their desks in to be together, and it's not even a question. I think that was a really, really special moment. I enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it was super cool to see the development, and what he was able to gain through his relationship with Hori, initially at least. One of my favorite Miyamura moments.
Mm-hmm. All right. Am I still going, or
no? That's fine.
I think it's your turn now.
We can bounce back and forth. We talked there about Miyamura. Let's talk about the other half of the couple, the other half of the name of the show, Hori, Kyoko Hori. I wrote popular and smart. That was hit pretty well in the description of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Loud and aggressive outside of school.
Yes.
And then very caring for her family, takes care of things while her parents work. That was something that I thought was kind of missing from the description that I read, is that she spends a lot of her time when she's out of school. Yes, like she doesn't hang out with her friends all that often, like we see very clearly in I think probably even the first episode, where like her friends are like, okay, let's go out and do karaoke.
Yeah, it's like immediately.
And she says no, and they make a comment about her never being able to do stuff. And then it is immediately evident when she goes home. She starts like cleaning, cooking, doing all kinds of house work. And then her little brother gets home from school and she takes care of him. I think it's evident that her parents are not home very often. So she kind of takes it upon herself to take care of the house, take care of her little brother, which is really, really cool. And it's not that you would assume just because somebody's popular and smart that they like, are doing all kinds of stuff with friends outside of school and wouldn't be like a caring person. But
that's definitely like a stereotype of the popular girl.
I guess
the popular person in general.
So it's super cool to see that side of her right off the bat. And then as far as like saying loud and aggressive, when we do really meet her family, her mom is home from work one day and is there for the first time to meet her, makes a whole big deal with Miyamura, and then finally her father comes back from what seems to be like a work-away job, which I feel like we see often in anime and must be just something
much more of a thing in Japan than it is here in the States.
And you get her whole family together, and they're all like loud and yell at each other, and it's very funny.
It's something.
For sure. But it is, once again, just a completely different side than we would see at school. And we do see that start to come out more and more. I mean, it's the same with both of them. Is initially it is this secret self that they're sharing with each other. But, eventually in their time together, that does, I feel, start to come out more and more.
Yeah, absolutely.
As like their personality in general, which I think is pretty
and as they grow more comfortable with their like hidden sides.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we can move on here to the next character, is Toru, and he is Miyamura's friend. Mm-hmm. His first I guess no, he becomes friends with Toru after he's already like made acquaintance with Hori.
Well, I mean that's how it all starts.
But it's like his first boy in high school.
Yeah.
Toru is in love with Hori, which is kind of awkward.
For sure.
And doesn't create like that many problems, but it's definitely something he has to face pretty early on in the show with that's Miyamura and Hori's relationship developing super fast.
That's how
at first, he he's like super jealous, and he's like, "Yo, Miyamoto, what's your deal with Hoodie?" And then like he's like, "Oh, we're friends," and then they become friends because of that.
Yeah, it's how the
And
whole
then,
relationship starts.
Yeah, and Miyamoto opens up to Toru pretty early on in the show. I think it might be like maybe the first or second episode, and shows Toru all his tattoos.
Yeah.
And later on in the show, not really much in the main show, but in the second season, The Missing Pieces, Toru is on a mission to keep that secret.
Yes, yeah.
And he does a very good job
because
he's a very caring, good friend.
Yeah.
And then we do get to see him develop quite a bit because he does get some options for love interests.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
He's very involved with the romance in this show because eventually another character falls for him, and then another character also falls for him, and he has to kind of make that choice and pick one. Yeah. I guess they don't really make that a huge plot point, like him thinking about who he's going to pick.
No, not really.
It just kind of happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But they kind of, develop both relationships. So you don't know exactly which way it's going to go until it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, Toru's a great character. He's really the perfect friend to have. He's super supportive of Miyamoto, and they're always joking around, having a good time. Like, if he just had Hori, he would have been a lot happier, but it really is the whole friend group that makes him come out of his shell and really be happy with himself and his high school experience.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Probably couldn't have happened without Toru.
No, yeah, I totally would agree that the friends are almost just as important in general. And yeah, Toru's a great best friend to have. Super, super supportive.
He's rich.
That helps.
It's not a huge plot point.
No, but
he's cool about it, though.
He's very cool about it. Yeah. But like, yeah, once even Miyamoto and Hori start dating, and like Toru has to accept that, Miyamoto's like very clearly shy about it, and naturally he feels bad. That was how he and Toru's friendship started, as you mentioned. Like, was Toru asking him about Hori. And he's so cool about it. Really, really understanding about it. It's I don't know. It's I think relatable for someone who's ever been in that position. As like, yes, it sucks, but also this is your friend, and both of them are his friends, and they're both going to be happy, and to accept that, I think is
it definitely takes like a lot of courage and strength to be supportive of the relationship, even though it's not exactly what you want.
For sure.
And yeah, he is extremely supportive in like the early show when they first start dating, and it like spreads around and people are talking crap.
Yeah.
He's super upset about it, and he's supportive of Miyamoto, and that's eventually what leads him to cut his hair and really show everybody his full potential, because not everybody saw his full potential, but Hori always did.
Yeah, full potential is a good way to put it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk about Yuki. So she is Hori's best friend, but also the final part to this kind of group of 4 best friends. I only put one note down here for her, and it is puts others' needs before her own. I think this is her main development, I would say.
Yeah, her kind of facing that and being able to admit when she wants something, and it's not always selfish to have something that you want.
Which I think is a great lesson to learn. I believe that being selfless is awesome, and making a difference in other people's lives is great. Doing things for other people is great. But at the end of the day, you have to look out for yourself as well. So I think she does learn this along the way, illustrated in a few different ways. One example is at like a bookstore when she lets somebody else have the last copy of something she was going for, and I think Hori's there and like kind of tells her like, "Hey, what are you doing? Like, why do you always do this?
Like, you don't need to hold back."
Yeah. And then I think that then shows itself again with Toru actually.
Yeah, he's the book. That 2 people want.
That's great. That was good. Yeah, he's the book. But it shows itself again there, and she's able to, go out and get what she wants. And I don't think their relationship's expounded on crazy heavy, and they first season of the anime. Or, I mean, not that
I mean,
remember
yeah,
the
maybe
season.
in the manga. Just to reiterate, this show like skips so much of the manga.
Yeah, I mean, so much so that, yeah.
I mean, even after doing the missing pieces, the whole second season, there's still...
For sure, yeah, there's like 15 or 16 books.
Yeah.
I think 15 volumes, and it's adapted into, 24 episodes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, originally 12, so...
Yeah. So there's definitely probably a lot more out there. But, yeah, I mean, I think she's a incredible friend, super supportive. Even when their friend group grows, like, it's cool to see how supportive she is. But I do think she's used to illustrate a lesson that I think we should all kind of take to heart. So she's a pretty cool character, and like I said, they don't expand too much on the relationship, but it does seem to be clear that she and Toru have something.
Yes.
Especially by the end, and her turning down another guy, which we'll
get to him later.
But yeah, super cool character.
All right.
Great design as well.
We're gonna move on here to. I don't want to say my favorite character.
You're lucky to get to talk about it.
Because I think, well, here's the thing, buddy. We can both talk about it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Miyamoto was, I'd say my favorite character, but Sengoku. He's the student council president, and he is a great character. They develop him well, and he's involved with pretty much all the most entertaining moments of the show.
Yeah,
or almost all of them. But
Many
yeah, so
of
he's
them,
the student council president. He has he's in a relationship with Remy, who we'll talk about pretty shortly, and he is Hodi's childhood friend. I don't know if I'd really call it like a friendship, though. She kind of just like teases him and has bullied him since he was a little kid, and she feels bad about that. So she is always helping out with student council stuff. And in the beginning, Sengoku's actually a little rude to her about some of the stuff, and that results in one of the greatest moments in the show, which I wanted to talk about it later, but while we're here,
okay.
The Miyamoto headbutt.
All right, bring it on.
So Sengoku is giving Hori a hard time because some like student council documents got misplaced, and they all thought it was her who did it. So he's kind of like causing a scene in the hallway, and this is before like her and Miyamoto are dating, but he like walks up and just headbutts the hell out of Sengoku.
Yes, after giving him the documents and saying, "Hey, it was not Hori's fault; it was your girlfriend's
I forgot to add that. Yeah, it was his girlfriend Remy who lost the documents.
Yeah.
So, and it's super funny after that because then like Sengoku's scared of Miyamoto, and one part like they're like next to each other at like their lockers before school, and Miyamoto's like, "Oh, good morning, Sengoku," and Sengoku says, "Oh, good morning to you too, sir."
Yeah, that's so
and,
funny.
Yeah, that's just comedy gold right there. That,
it is. It's really good.
That's like something I quote from time to time. It's just
For
it's
sure.
hilarious. And then eventually Sengoku does end up being like a full-fledged member of this friend group, along with some of the other student council members.
Yeah.
Because they're always hanging out in the student council room.
Yes.
That's how it kind of starts.
Yes.
And then Toru and Miyamoto share some like, I guess like a water ice with him.
Yeah.
And that's how simple it is for them to bury the
Become
hatchet
friends,
and
yeah.
become friends, and then eventually good friends. Yeah. So Sengoku's a lot of fun. He definitely faces his own challenges.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this more in the Christmas episode, but he has to face a lot of personal strife in that episode.
yeah. I mean,
It's a lot of time more
that's
funny
pretty
stuff.
surface level for him.
Yeah, it's surface level. I didn't say it was like deep strife.
Yeah.
He also does have to kind of tiptoe because like his dad's like, "Oh, my son would never have a girlfriend."
Yeah, I think that's more so what I would say is his personal
strife,
battles.
yeah, and kind of just his relationship developing with Remy in the episode. They really explore that. It's very cute to watch. It's great.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But yeah, Sengoku's awesome. Anything else you want to add?
No,
I know you were jealous. And I got
that's
to
okay.
talk about
I
him.
think you hit everything. I enjoy him as a character, big time. Student council president. How could you not like him? You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll touch quickly then on Remy, who is Sengoku's girlfriend, and also I guess the secretary of the student council.
Yeah, her job, she just kind of like carries stuff sometimes, and she opens the window.
Yeah.
I think she's just kind of there because she's, dating Sengoku, and her best friend is also in the student council.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her in a little bit, actually.
Yeah. But Remy's a super cool character. Great with her friends. Great with her best friend, who we'll touch on in a little bit. At first, like, not that she's not likable, but like, she's not all that likable.
No, there's like the first episode. She's like really teasing Hori about Miyamura. She's like, "Are you guys dating?"
I don't think that's.
Well,
a
if
bad
not,
thing.
I'm gonna start dating him. I'm gonna take him from you.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't know. It's like it's the first time you get to meet Remy, so it's kind of like starting off on a sour note.
Yeah.
But.
Well, I think the first is more so like the student council thing, and she loses the paper. They all blame it on Hori. That sucks. I think her. Then teasing Hori about Miyamura and being like,
yeah, the student
what's the
council
deal?
crew really gets off to a kind of a rough start.
They do, yeah, they do. I don't know. That doesn't bother me. Like I think that helped Hori realize something she needed to, because like that pushes her so far to say like you can't have him, like he's mine before they're dating and all. So I like that scene a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely develops the show because it does get Hori to say, like, no, you can't have him.
Yeah.
I want him for myself.
But I do, you kind of touched on it a little bit with Sengoku.
Give me that.
I really...
Sorry.
No, it's good. I mean, look, it's foreshadowing the future.
Yeah.
I really like the episode of her and Sengoku's relationship and explaining it all. Initially, she's just this popular girl that everybody likes, everybody thinks is cute. And you overhear like Sengoku and his friends talking, and his friends are talking about how attractive she is, and he's like, does not care one bit.
Nah, he's not phased.
Makes it very clear, like, looks don't really matter to him all that much, and you know, she's not. He doesn't think, oh, she's the most attractive girl ever, like all his friends do, which was interesting. But then it just so happens that they share a love of books together. She actually approaches him about a book that he's reading and starts like lending books from Sengoku. Then she's like going to his house a few times, and then they're talking about a book, like something about the end of the world and like if you only had so much time left to live, like what would you do? And Remy asks Sengoku what he would do, and he says, I would confess that I like you. And that was a really, really super cool moment. Cause
smooth move.
Without a doubt. I mean, Remy had initiated everything from the start. Sengoku had said, like, I don't care. Like, I don't know who this girl is. I don't think she's hot. All this stuff. And then he just folds, which I get. You know, that happens.
Yeah, she's not just a pretty face. She's
exactly.
a very sweet girl.
Exactly.
She might be a little, like, scatterbrained.
Yeah.
But I think her kindness makes up for that
tenfold. I really enjoy that. She's a fun character. She's funny. And
and she like refers to herself in third person.
Important, like she always refers to herself in third person, which
that's
I think is pretty comical.
It's funny.
So Remy's a cool character.
All right, so moving on here to the missing pieces of the show,
or like pieces,
side characters. I kind of try to combine both.
Wow,
like side piece kind of sounds derogatory.
I mean, wow.
But the first, like I guess, side character we're going to talk about is Sota Hori.
Yeah,
and this is Hori's little brother.
Yes.
And the other note I had about him made this all happen.
Ain't that a fact?
If he never tripped and fell and hurt himself not like hurt himself, but tripped and fell and like scraped himself all up, Miyamoto never would have helped him get back home, and they would have Hori and Miyamoto never would have found out about each other's like secret selves.
Yeah.
So without Sota, none of this is happening.
Yeah.
And Sota, he's a great character. He's an awesome little brother, and he really takes
funny.
a liking to Miyamoto from the start, and that's really awesome to see that relationship develop.
I agree.
And there is a part where he's like, "Hey, are you gonna like take my sister away?"
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of like, oh, it hits you in the feels. But
Yeah.
But he really does love Miyamoto, and he always is calling him brother from the beginning, like big bro, right away. So he's definitely makes the show a lot more enjoyable and makes the Hori household a lot more lively.
Yeah, for sure.
They have like a super funny dynamic with like Sota, Miyamoto, and then the next character you're going to talk about, right? Unless you have anything else.
No, I was going to say more about Sota.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the relationship with Miyamoto and, you know, like kind of having a little brother. Miyamoto is an only child, so I think it's cool, like putting myself in those shoes to have that opportunity, have somebody like that really look up to you. And yeah, I think it's super, super awesome. I also like when he draws a picture of their family and it's got Miyamoto in it.
Yeah, that's awesome. He really does accept him super early on as part of the family.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll talk next about Kyosuke Hori, who is their father. at first is not in the show for like a decent chunk of the episode.
Yeah, almost like half the show.
It might be half the show. And then kind of shows up and everybody's like shocked that he's back. I don't know like how long he was supposed to be at work or what, but like by the time he's back, Miyamura like uses all his silverware and stuff and his plate and everything.
Yeah, he's really like kind of took his spot.
Yeah, he just completely took over. So I think it's really funny. But really takes a liking to Miyamura as well.
Yeah, pretty quickly as well. Like at first he's like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah, for sure. And then kind of like messes with him, but as any father would do. But yeah, super supportive of their relationship. As far as like, I didn't really explain what his deal is. Like, I don't know what he does for work. I don't know why Hori calls him by his first name. Like, I don't know why.
And they just have a strange relationship.
It's pretty wacky. But yeah, he's I think
like
great.
Yeah, she'll like disrespect to like say a lot of stuff, but she's very like caring for
Yeah,
him.
for sure.
But it's another like it helps keep the Hori household very lively.
Yes,
which is what I would say it is.
Yeah, but I think he's a great addition from a comedy standpoint to have in the show.
Yeah,
Always.
and Hodi's mom adds that too. I didn't put her on this list just because I feel like she's not as important to the show.
much less featured.
What does she do? I think she works like in the medical field or something. Cause
She's
works a lot
too. A lot of overtime and stuff.
So yeah, the families and the parents are not always around. So most of the time it's just Hori, Miyamura, and Sota. But when they are, it's always a good time.
I agree.
And she also took a liking to Miyamura. He's basically part of the family.
He really is. Yeah.
Well, there's something I'll talk about when we talk about like our favorite episodes. And
for sure.
So we'll add that there. All right. So moving on to this is another student. This is Sakura. She is the note I took about her is she's a losing heroine.
Indeed.
She's another very wholesome, great girl. Awesome. She's not like quite as popular as some of the other ones because I guess she's not as attractive. Which in that like same kind of vein, Sengoku says the same thing about her that he says about Remy. They're like, oh, she's like just as attractive as Remy. They're like the same.
Yeah.
Because he once again doesn't really care about like the exterior beauty. But she ends up having feelings for Toru after he's very kind to her, like helps her pick up some like papers that blew out the window and lends her his uniform after
he spills coffee on her.
I think it's Yuki.
No, it's him.
It's him?
Yeah.
Okay, after he spills coffee on it. He's very kind from the beginning, and she really falls for that kindness and for him. But unfortunately, she's not the one who gets to have that relationship with him. I mean, their relationship kind of develops fast, but it's like at that same time, Yuki realizes that if she just lets it slip through her fingers, she's never going to have what she wants.
Yes, for sure.
And that's how it ends up going.
Yeah.
But Sakura, she's a great character. She's best friends with Remy and always hang out with her and Sengoku, so she still has like a lot of fun and a good like support system of friends. So I like to think she's fine and she'll find somebody who's just as kind as her.
Yeah.
But we do not get to really see that in the show.
No.
She spends a lot of time talking to another character, but they don't really develop that. Maybe they do a little bit more in the manga, but I feel like if they did, it would have been in the show.
Who?
This guy.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, they like both like the same like manga series.
Did they do that in the
Yeah.
Missing Pieces?
Yeah, that's in the Missing Pieces. The two of
Okay.
them like hit it off a lot, which I thought like maybe there's something there, but there's not.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, losing heroine's a great way to describe her. I think that's really unfortunate, but obviously, like, the reality of life is we're not always going to get what we want.
Yeah, and it's tough to like
Or who we
for
want.
us to like try to root for one of them because they're both such great people and both do have a nice, good relationship with Toru.
Yeah.
So-
But I definitely, like, I think she learns to accept herself a little better. Like, there's moments with Remy where obviously she's, like, best friends with this super cute, popular girl, and, like,
Yeah,
she's
she kind of gets
naturally going to
overshadowed.
compare herself to her.
Mm-hmm.
But Remy's just there to be super, super supportive and, like, share how much she loves her. So, yeah, pretty cool dynamic between those two. But, yeah, losing heroine to the end.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right.
Alrighty. I'll talk about Shu. So he is another male character, not one who is involved in any of the romance for the most part.
No, not really.
Yeah, not really at all. But he's kind of like I would say a comic relief character.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's like really loud, energetic, always in a good mood.
Yeah.
Loves like music and stuff, and is always sharing his like taste with everybody else.
For sure. But his main relationship shown is one with his little sister.
Yeah, Mokoto.
I think so.
Mokoto.
I don't know. And kind of like taking care of her, but also like pushing her to be better in ways. But yeah, I think he's just an overall fun character.
Yeah, there were so many like funny moments. There's a part in the missing pieces in the second season where his little sister like has a crush on a guy
this is
and
great.
invites him over to like study, and like he like greets the kid like with a samurai sword in his hand, but the kid like thinks he's awesome. I don't know if he has like a crush on him.
It's not really made evident.
I don't know, but he's like super into Shu. Like he like wants to like he like always like like he spends more time hanging out with Shu than he does Mokoto, which is it's very entertaining.
Yeah, I agree.
He's just a great guy to have around. I mean, what friend group would be like complete without the happy-go-lucky guy?
For sure, I would agree.
And that's really him. I mean, you do develop him, and there is times. Not many when he's upset. Not like relationship-wise.
Yeah.
He thinks Remy's cute. He mentions that a couple times.
Yeah, he does.
Which is like, because there's one part they think Sengoku's cheating because he's hanging out with Sakura. And he's like, oh, well, if Sengoku's cheating, that means I can finally shoot my shot with Remy. But then you find out that the Sakura and Sengoku were just like secretly getting a gift for Remy. Some premium cookies because she's been trying really hard at school. But yeah, she's great. He's like I said, a good guy to have around, but not really involved with the romance. There is one part where one of the underclassmen on the Valentine's Day episode is trying to
I like
pass
that a lot.
on chocolates to him, but that just never really happens.
No,
so.
it's not.
He'll probably find love. He's gonna move on to college, and
sure.
he'll be all right.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going again. I feel like I was just talking. So the next
okay.
character is Akane. I put in parentheses Markiplier.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like him, but he has like that one, like he has like red hair, like at one point Markiplier had.
Yeah.
So we just have always called him that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's introduced kind of like midway through the show because he likes Yuki.
Yeah.
And Yuki does not like him.
No.
So to try to let him down easy, she's like, she pretends to be dating Toro, and that's how like their kind of relationship develops. I think that's how like it really starts. She's like pretending Toru to let Akane down easy.
Yeah.
He's another like side character. He's not really like energetic and kind of shy, but he's another, I'd say, almost comic relief character because he's like really bad vision, and there's times where he like doesn't have his glasses and is bumping into stuff, and then other times he has his glasses, but he's kind of clumsy anyway.
Yeah.
But he's like a good addition to the friend group, like another nice guy. There's no characters that aren't like super kind. Like it really is a what?
That one guy.
What guy?
The guy from middle school.
Well, he's not part of the group.
No, yeah.
I mean, like, the group is just super, like, really great people.
Because it's a good friend group.
Yeah, like, they were just awesome. But yeah, he's pretty cool. He's, like, friends with Yuki's big sister. Like, they've, like, have a couple scenes together. Which is pretty interesting. Nothing happens there.
I agree.
But,
I mean, they hang out together on Christmas. Like, I feel like that implies something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But he's another character I'm sure will find love with. He's like when he shows up, it's crazy because he's supposedly the most attractive one.
Yeah.
Like Hori even says that he's got even
looking at
Miyamoto beaten.
yeah.
Miyamoto's now this super hunk.
Yeah.
So he's like super popular as far as that goes, as far as looks goes. But he's also super nice, which is not always what you see with somebody who's like that attractive.
Agreed.
But yeah, so I guess we can move on.
All right. Final character we're really going to touch on here is Shindo. So he's Miyamura's first friend from middle school. Just like somebody who, I guess, noticed Miyamura and went out of his way to develop a friendship with him. So naturally, overall, great guy. He was held back a year in school. They make a pretty big point of that. But I feel as though he's kind of always like pushing on Miyamoto, and I find their relationship to be very funny. It's like this was like his first friend, and like he's always I don't know. He's like a great guy, but Miyamoto's like kind of mean to him.
Yeah, like he'll text like I forget. He's like text like something. He's like kind of risque about Hori to Miyamura, and he texts back. He's like, or he calls back. He's like, die, and then hangs up.
Well, I think it was something about like them going on a double date. Actually,
was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And he just calls him, and he's like, die, and then.
But they have a funny relationship. I don't know if you remember this, and I'm pretty sure it's with Shindo. There's one part where Miyamoto tries on Hori's uniform. Somebody walks in on him doing that. Toru. Is it Toru?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely Toru.
I don't know. I didn't remember if it was Toru or Shindo. Either way, it's super funny. But he's got a very entertaining, I'd say, another lively relationship with Shindo.
Yeah, I think Shindo's really funny.
Yeah, he's got his own girlfriend.
Yes.
Chica.
Yes.
Because there's one part that him and his girlfriend hurt themselves, like tripped, and Miyamoto is helping both of them walk. So he's walking in the middle of them with his arms around them, and Hoodie's little brother sees and like tells on him, and then Hoodie's all mad at Miyamoto. It's very funny. And then that's one she has. She throws a book at him. And
yes, and this was like right after he like confessed.
Yeah, right after he's like, "Oh, I love you."
Yeah.
Because she's like trying to figure out if it's cheating because they're not dating yet.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
It is funny.
I mean, they clear it up pretty quick, but it is.
Funny. Yes. And his winning of a prize with a bunch of candy leads to one of the best moments of the show. So we'll get to that too.
Okay. Yeah. So the other point I had, not talking characters here, we didn't really take any notes, but the ending. Yeah. I figure we'll talk about it for each show that has one. Mm-hmm. What did you think? Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it thoroughly. Obviously, we've made it pretty evident in all of our talking about the show that the main couple gets together pretty early. But I think that the ending is more so just promise of the future. Mm. You know, showing that what they have is real and they can continue it, and they both want to continue it. And also, like, graduating from school, you know, something that most of us do, something we can all relate to, and obviously a huge moment in everybody's life. So I think that that's such a natural conclusion to a show like this. It really, I think, did really well.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say like the ending's like the climax of the show.
No, certainly
not. A ton really happens between like the second to last and the last episode.
Which is why I think a natural ending like Graduation fits it so well.
Yeah, I think it really is a nice ending, and it kind of. Yeah, puts a nice little bow on the show, I'd say. Mm-hmm. They do like a little different ending on the missing pieces. Which you said is anime only.
Yeah, I didn't see that in
like
the manga anywhere.
Random episode, Hoodie cuts her hair really short and then like feels like embarrassed about it, and then Miyamoto cuts his hair too. Yeah, that's kind of cute.
It is.
So at the end of the show, in the missing pieces, they both have really short hair.
Yeah, they both have crazy
for like 1 second.
Hair. His hair's so short, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really, really was happy with the ending. They didn't throw any like crazy curveballs at us, but that's really not what you would want or expect at that point.
No, certainly not.
Because really, towards the end of the show, everything's really set up happily, and we like it to stay that way. Yeah. The last episode's really great. I'll talk about that in my favorite moments. Which, unless you had anything to add about the ending, I can just pivot right there. The last episode,
it's the second last episode.
Which one? The
Christmas.
One where no.
Oh, that's
I'm talking about the last episode.
Oh, go for it.
So the last episode, it kind of, I don't know if it's no. But I was just thinking about it while we were talking.
Yeah, roll.
It cuts back to like a flashback, or I'd say like an alternate timeline of Miyamoto if he never really got to have that chance encounter with Hori. Mm-hmm. And that was like when I think the episode starts that way. Because like it had me like so anxious. I'm like, what? Was it all a dream? Like it shows like, yeah, the whole like sequence of events, what would have happened if Miyamoto was never a part of it. And it's honestly pretty sad. Like a lot of characters weren't really friendly. Some of the whole group never got together without him. That makes me really think that like he's kind of the glue. Yeah. Which at first it was like sad, but then like Miyamoto talks to his old self for like the last time. It's while he's like up on the roof right before the graduation ceremony or the picture. And I thought that was a really great moment because he finally does come to terms with what he used to be like and who he is now and how much he's grown and how much he's really grown to accept himself. I feel like that was really good for the ending to finally have that, and it's like old self like disappears and it's like, you know what, everything's gonna be okay. And I thought that was cool. I thought that alternate timeline scared me. It really did. But I'm like, this show can't end this way. It's not like I don't remember reading this on like top 10
Yeah.
most tragic endings of a show ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that last episode was great. And there's also one of my favorite comedy moments in the show. Sengoku's giving like the big final speech,
Yes.
and Miyamura sneezes in the middle of it, and like
Yeah.
people start like chuckling. And then like after that, Sengoku's chasing him through the halls. He's like, "You did that on purpose!"
Yeah.
Like he didn't. And that's a great little moment there, and shows their friendship. And
That
it's
is
just,
really funny.
it's just, yeah, like that school, like it seems like that group was such a good time. Like that's a show that like I know people aren't like big fans like filler, but like I could just watch them hang out like for seasons. Like it's a sitcom. Like they're just it's always some shenanigans, and it's just so
Yeah, I mean, it
entertaining.
kind of like feels like a sitcom.
It could
honestly.
be, yeah. It could absolutely like, and people are like, oh, I hate like when romance animes draw out seasons. Like what sitcom isn't like 20 seasons?
I mean,
What sitcom isn't like 10
Yeah, a lot of
seasons? All right,
seasons,
let's
yeah.
be.
No,
I'll
you're
be a
right.
little more honest
You're
about
right.
that, but. And like a lot of sitcoms, not much happens from episode to episode. Like you could miss an episode and it not be important.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas this, I feel like, I mean, there's like a couple I guess you could skip, but they're always developing some character, whether it's a main character or side character. But like I said, that friend group's awesome. I could watch them hang out all
Yeah,
day.
yeah, I agree.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on the second to last episode. Has some really, really awesome moments for me. So it's a Christmas episode, and it's really cool. Like shows a lot of the different couples together. Yuki and Toto together. Remy and Sengoku.
yeah, Sengoku has to face his fear because for some reason Remy's dad has a bunch of like bugs. What is it called when you have like the bugs? They're like
Taxiderm?
I don't know. They're like the bugs. They're like the mosquito in Jurassic Park that's in the amber.
No, it's not.
It's like that.
They're in like frames. I think it's taxidermy.
Are they not in like clear
No.
like crystals? I
No,
thought they
they're
were
in
stuff.
frames.
Are they just framed?
Yeah.
Yeah, framed bugs. Which I mean, no judgment, but like Sengoku hates insects, so he has to face his fears.
Yeah.
And suck it up so he can spend Christmas with his damn
Yes,
girlfriend.
Yes. But it gives us what my favorite moment with Hori and Miyamura. He has to work because his parents are in a bakery, and Christmas would obviously be a pretty busy time for them. But he has an hour he makes to spend time with her and her family.
He doesn't really make it. They kind of
They
like
kinda steal it,
coerce him
yeah.
into.
Well, he said he would have like.
Well, yeah, because like leading up to it, I'm not trying to like steal your
It's
thunder.
okay.
Leading up, because I'm going to talk about the comedy moments. You're going to talk about the serious ones.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
if I'm correct,
You
here.
are correct. Yeah.
Leading up to it, he's like keeps saying he's like I can't hang out on Christmas. I got to work at the bakery. Like it's
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's no big deal. And like he like runs off after he like says it, and like when he's running off, like her little brother. Or yeah, his dad's like, call me when you get home, and her little brother's like, all I want for Christmas is you, bro. Because like the brother, dad, and mom are like so much more broken up about him not getting to spend Christmas there than what he is. And at one point, she like told her mom, she's like, if you're sorry on my behalf, don't be. I'm fine. And she's like, well, you're the only one who's not sorry because they all want him there. So
Yeah.
that's how they kind of get him to at least spend an hour with them on
Yeah.
Christmas.
But yeah, so after their hour, Hori's like half walking him back to the bakery. Like they only go about halfway, and is talking about how she still doesn't know everything that she wants to know about him, which is something that he had said to her like way long ago in their relationship, and kind of expressed like I want to stay with you. Like we're coming to the end of school here. We don't know what the future looks like, but I want to stay with you. And then he just turns around and asks her to marry him, which was just an awesome moment. And like,
Yeah, not expected.
no, and he immediately is like, oh my, like, forget I said, like, what am I doing? And she just takes it in stride and like promises to make him the happiest person, and like admits that she's self-centered and will make a conscious effort to like put his needs first and just make him happy. And yeah, I think it's really, really cool. We never see it come to fruition as the anime ends when they graduate high school, but I'd like to think that it
Headcanon.
yeah, of course. But yeah, it's just such a special moment and culmination of their relationship that they've learned so much about each other, but there's still so much more they want to know, and they promise each other that they'll be there for each other going forward into an uncertain time of their lives. So yeah, the Christmas episode ending with that is Awesome. Second to last episode, and then into kind of like you were saying about the finale.
Yeah, so I'll move on. I'll talk about, because it looks like you have one other like romantic thing to talk about. I didn't realize like we both like chose. I chose the funny stuff.
That's
You chose the romantic
what else?
stuff. I feel like I'm a lot better at talking about stuff that's like funny rather than romantic.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm going to talk about, I did mention the headbutt scene. That was great.
Yes.
The other like super funny episode we just watched. You're like, what episode do you want to watch? I'm like, this one. There's one where the boys all have a sleepover. This is in the missing pieces, which are cut out of like the original show. Sengoku, Toru, Shu, and Miyamoto all have this sleepover at Sengoku's house. And for like a lot of the missing pieces, Sengoku just wants to find out why Miyamoto is always avoiding being shirtless.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like, I'm the student council president. I should know this. I'm a student officer. But like, I don't know why at that point Miyamoto still tries to keep it secret. It's not like it's going to affect their friendship.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like Toru's always coming in clutch, making up some kind of dumb excuse why Miyamoto can't take his shirt off.
Yeah.
But there's one episode where they have like a sleepover at Sengoku's house, and he finds that as the perfect time to try to find out what Miyamoto's secret is.
Yes.
And then he like is like trying to like take his shirt off, and Shu walks in on him doing that. And it's just like so funny.
It is.
Like, that's great.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't need to say a word.
Yeah.
I already know what I'm thinking. You're just wasting your breath. I'm just going to go back downstairs and pretend I didn't see. And he's like, no, I'm just trying to see him shirtless. And then like Toru's like, oh yeah, he can shoot missiles out of his stomach. That's why he has to wear a shirt.
Yeah,
and that's how they end it.
Yeah.
It's just like the silly moments like that really help make the show for me. Because there's like there's a lot of great romance in the show, but there's a lot of other great romance shows for me. It's just like the real slice of life nature that puts this show for me in the top 10.
Yeah.
Like the romance is great, but as we mentioned, it happens early. So it's not really, for me, I mean, obviously they have the romance with the other characters, but it really is like the character development and their day-to-day life and happenings is what I enjoy most about the show. So it's not that I don't see the romance as important. It's just this is, for me, what sets it apart from other shows.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, the last two moments I wrote down is one of them was when Miyamoto cut his hair. It's after all the rumors are swirling about him and Hori. And,
yeah, like how could this dork date her?
And yeah, he just walks in from lunch break one day without his glasses and with a haircut.
Yeah, he's wearing a sweater instead of a blazer.
Yeah, and like all of a sudden, all the girls were like around him, and, like asking him stuff, and like suddenly, okay, hey, he cut his hair, you can see his face.
Yeah,
He's
those
now
little
wearing
cool
glasses,
piercings.
not gloomy, and what difference it makes. So yeah, I just think, I don't know, kind of maybe making some sort of commentary on people being so surface level, but and Hori wasn't, obviously, so that was cool. But then also I really enjoy their first kiss scene.
Mm-hmm.
So Shindo, as I mentioned earlier, he had like won some sort of competition at a bunch of candy, like candy that you like suck on, I don't know. And they go over to his house, Miyamoto and Hori, and they're all just hanging out and eating the candy, doing stupid stuff. And Hori is eating one that's supposed to taste like clay.
Yeah, it's clay flavored. I never had a clay flavored candy,
time.
but I can't imagine it's very good.
But like at one point, Shindo's like, I don't know if he's like looking in the candy or he's doing something, and Miyamoto just kisses Hori out of nowhere, their first kiss, and like really, really shocks her, and I think it's a really cute scene. And then he walks away, I guess, like go to the bathroom or something right after. And he's like, like it really is clay flavored, and he has the candy in his mouth. And I think that's
that's a
pretty
good
funny.
first kiss
But
moment.
yeah, I think that was super cool. All right,
so
coming toward the end here.
moving on here from our favorite moments, we're going to talk about briefly what we liked.
Yeah,
And then any critiques.
for sure.
I'll start. So what I liked was I wrote the good vibes, which is similar to what you put, and what I really just talked about. I really just enjoy watching their day-to-day life. And another thing I put was it's easy to watch.
Yeah.
Because it's really not juggling the whole will they or won't they thing the whole series like a lot of other romances do. I love those types of romances, and we'll talk about those types of romances later. But it is nice to have one where it's like just pretty relaxing to watch, and you really just get to watch more so their relationship develop while they're already a couple rather than before they're a couple.
Yeah.
Which is, like we've mentioned before, it's unique. So definitely really what I enjoy most about the show is that.
Yeah.
The vibes, I'd say.
Yeah.
As far as my critiques, the one critique I wrote, wish it was longer.
Yeah.
Now I am very, very thankful that we did get the missing pieces.
Yeah.
And I'm also thankful that I can always at any point just pick up a book and read the manga.
I have it all.
But I think it would have been, it's great to have that, but I think it would have been awesome had we got to have the show in like chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
Had all those moments as we went. It is great to have them later, but sometimes it's like I'm trying to piece the timeline together, which if it was in chronological order, I wouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Then again, if they wanted to make another missing pieces, I would be the happiest guy in the world.
Yeah.
So that's really my only critique. I just wish there was more.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is going to be a critique for plenty of these shows.
Yeah, I mean, that's more of what you like. How about that?
Yeah, I'm a simple man.
Yeah. So I mean, for what I liked, I think the show just feels very comfortable, very familiar, very warm.
Yeah, good vibes.
Maybe like part of that is the presentation. I love the music throughout. There's like certain moments, like if something big is happening or developing between usually the main two characters, where like the back of the screen will kind of go to white and it will just be like their faces and then the silhouette kind of off to the side in like a color. I don't know how to describe it without you seeing
they
it.
animate that very beautifully.
But like those moments and the music that plays there are always so special. This is always something that I can come back to, and it's it's short enough, especially the first main season, to watch in a day or two, and it's just always kind of there.
Yeah, I think this was a watch in a day show for me.
Yeah,
if not a day or maybe a 2-day show, or at least the first season, because when I watched it, that's all that was at.
Yeah. As far as critiques go, I mean, I think you touched on it, and we kind of made the sitcom analogy, but if somebody is just looking for your run-of-the-mill, won't they romance, this isn't that. And if that's your expectation, you will likely be let down. But I think that's just, depending on what somebody wants to get out of the show. I don't necessarily think that's the show's fault. But also, like, something I've heard is that, it focuses on our main two, and then that happens, and then it's just kind of a lot of stuff with other characters. And we like the other characters. We enjoy our time with them. But I don't know that everybody necessarily does, especially, once again, if they were just in it for that romance. So spending a lot of time with characters when maybe not a lot of things are happening in some episodes or in some scenes, I can see how somebody might not love that. But, obviously these are all things that you and I don't feel or don't agree with. I think it's an awesome show. It really is. And it's in my top 15, I believe, I forget exactly where I put it. But it's really high up on my list as well for a reason. I love it. You want to close it out on the show?
Yeah, I mean, I feel very similar to you. I just enjoy it so thoroughly. I know this episode's running a little long, but we just want to kind of do like little weekly updates just to let you know what's going on with us, and just keep you in the loop.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I don't know if you want to just like save this for when we have more time.
Yeah, that's fine.
But we have been watching. I think we mentioned it on a previous episode.
We might have.
But we've been watching Dr. Stone together. I finally got you to watch it.
Yeah.
We've watched, I don't know, maybe like 12, 13 episodes. How are you feeling about it? You enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's been fun. Main character Senku's pretty awesome. Really, really cool to see what ideas he comes up with and, how he intends to progress society. Most recently, there's kind of a revelation about a group of people that's alive and there and seems to have been there for a while relative to when he woke up from things.
And they're primitive, too.
Yes, yeah, very, very primitive compared to where he is and, where we were. So I think that was a super interesting twist, and, we'll see what comes of...
Yeah, there might be more of a twist there.
Of his...
But I think you already figured out.
His science. So, yeah, super cool.
And you've had me watching Sword Art Online.
Yeah, so the other half of, what we call an exchange, when we both have a show that we want the other person to watch, we'll go back and forth with episodes. Yeah, it's been Sword Art Online. Thoughts?
Yeah, so my thoughts. At first, I was very anxious.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned before, like was it third episode, like made you cry. And
Yeah, third episode.
I like completely forgot, let my guard completely down, and I did not let my guard down after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to let it down now. Like I'm watching the show, not being on edge the whole time, seeing every time like I see a character or a new character or side character, I'm like, okay, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
They don't have plot armor, they're gonna die.
Yeah.
But that hasn't been the case for the most part. So with that event that happened, it seemed like Kirito carried a lot of trauma and regret from that. And I guess I did a little bit too, to a much lesser extent. But it took me a while to get over that episode as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The opening song is an absolute banger.
Yeah, it's a great tune.
But yeah, it's been great. Can't wait to watch more of that with you, buddy.
Love to hear it, brother. Love to hear it. Well, that's really all we got for today. Last note we had was the Instagram, but we touched on that.
I didn't know you had that.
No, it's okay.
Sorry, I kind of started talking.
No, it's good to hit right from the beginning. But yeah, we appreciate anybody sticking around. This will be the first of many of our deep dives into our favorite shows. So yeah, it's always great to talk about, some of our favorite anime. I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, me neither. All right, thank you guys for listening, and thank you for following our Instagram.
Peace.